mate, firstly, thanks for taking the time out to have a chat to just talk anything and everything about rugby. But how's your lockdown been so far? I mean, obviously, where you base yourself? Because a couple of players have been going around.
Well, I'm currently in Exeter at the moment because obviously I was here. Obviously been with Exeter the last 4 years. So me and my partner Molly got a place in a little village called Ken, just by Kenford in Exeter. So just been based here the whole of lockdown. Just been running I've still been able to run at Exeter and stuff. So just trying to stay fit. Trying to do as much gym in the garage as I can. Obviously, it can be quite hard. I'm sure everyone's in the same situation, but so just trying to stay active. Lots of dog walks.
Nice.
In the last couple of weeks, there's been quite a few little bits opening to here, like little farm shops and stuff. So you've been able to go and grab a coffee and sit out on the grass and meet a couple of the boys, but nothing much really. Just trying to stay active with it.
Okay. What have you had any communications with the Pirates? What are their intentions? When are they going to try and start, or is it still a bit uncertain now, and you're just waiting for a bit of update?
Yeah, I've had regular chats with Morg just each week, whether that's talking about line-outs or just some ideas for next year. I know the plan is to try and get in and around July, but they're still a bit unsure because obviously we haven't got a start date for that championship. So I think the way they've said it to me is they're waiting for that start date on the champ, and then they can give us a definite date we're going to be in. So just holding up. Well, I'm looking to move down, hopefully end of this month, start of July, so that then I'll be based down there. So if I do need to be in, I will be in. We're just waiting for the load of house stuff to go through, which is obviously quite difficult in coronavirus time.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, we haven't got a set date of when we're meant to be in, but I'm sure in the next few weeks, hopefully we'll get something or an indication.
What are you talk about the start date for the Premiership, obviously delaying and all that kind of. What are your thoughts on that? Because obviously we've got Saracens coming down. They're on about starting up the Premiership again and finishing off the year. That's obviously going to mean that Saracens can't play. What are your personal thoughts towards the whole kind of arrangement?
I think it's quite a difficult one. I was actually speaking to one of the lads up here the other day, and I think the best thing for them to do is, obviously the Premiership's going to carry on. The Championship is been done now, hasn't it, for the year? So it might be a case that the best thing to do is start that on the same day for next season. Otherwise, you can end up with, say, if someone gets relegated, they can either go like back-to-back year. If you get promoted, you can end up doing like a back-to-back year if it all started off at different times. Whereas if you got relegated, you might end up actually having 5-6 months of no rugby before you start your championship season.
But then you have the flip side though, because if Saracens, whoever gets relegated, doesn't get pre-season, so Saracens are going to see out the Prem and then start. There's, unless you start in January, there's no break, is there?
Yeah, obviously for someone like me who wants to play rugby straight away, I'm ready to start the season as usual. But it's one of them. It'll be a difficult one. The RFU have to make the decision on. But my sort of look on it is probably the best way of doing it is probably pairing up so that they run together. But obviously then that affects all the leagues below, so they'll have to do the same, wouldn't it? But
yeah, domino effect.
Right decision. I didn't think the Prem was going to carry on, but it's looking like it will do.
Yeah.
Which is quite a big shock for me. But if they want to finish it, they better do. I guess it's money in all situations like that.
Yeah, exactly that. It's all about the crowd and the revenue, and it helps support these big clubs that need that kind of income. But we're just an offshoot of result of that. But you talk about your time at Chiefs. You were there for 4 years, you said.
So this would be my 5th year. Yeah, 5th year this year.
So what have you kind of taken from your time there? Because you're not that old, are you? Although you do look it with a beard that IBM yourself.
I'm growing a beard at the moment for lockdown, so I said no, I'm not cutting it until it's all over. What have I learned? Well, first year I was injured for 11 months whilst at Chiefs, so that was quite a tough sort of going into a professional environment and getting injured straight away was quite hard. But in one way, I think that might have helped me a little bit. Just so when you go into a professional environment, it can be quite tough. Like you're not used to it, so having that year to kind of get almost like other parts like my pre-ab all up there and all sorts of stuff like that was quite a good one. And then obviously straight after that I come down on loan to Pirates in my first year at Pirates, and then I've been back and forward from Pirates to Chiefs for the last 4 years. So in one way I've had good support up there, and obviously the coaches up there are very good and they do support you and help you improve your game. But then obviously I've had my regular rugby down at Pirates where I haven't had it at Chiefs. The only thing I would have liked more is to have a shot more at Chiefs, just to stay in the shop window up here.
Absolutely,
But yeah, being down at Pirates has obviously been a great help. Well, I've played a lot of rugby for Pirates, and that's what's led me to probably signing for Pirates now.
Yeah, so you've officially signed for the Pirates now, aren't you? You're a Pirate through and through.
Yeah, from next season. Well, I probably played more for Pirates and been at Pirates more than I have been at Chiefs. But I've just.
How many games have you got? You've got like 60 odd appearances, haven't you? If not more.
I think 70, 75, 73, 75.
I think that's got to be a record for a new signing.
Yeah, new signing coming in. Experienced new signing.
What are your thoughts about, what's kind of mindset for you now then, obviously, because when you're dual registered, you're using the kind of the club you're on loan to, for lack of a better word, as a vessel to keep game time, keep fitness, but also it's a like a spotlight to get into the team you're at. Now it's obviously different. The focus is more on the Pirates kind of thing.
Yeah, it is a focus, but one of it, you'd know as a sportsman, the aim is to play well every game, and try and stand out, and then hopefully the goal will be to get back up into the Premiership, whether that's with Pirates or getting signed by a Premiership club. So still, as a sportsman, I still guess you're going out there to play your best game. You're never going to settle down and be humble or not be humble and just chill out and relax. So I guess one of them things, Pirates has been a big part of my rugby career and professional rugby career for the last 4 years. So I'm actually quite excited to get down there and be settled down in Cornwall instead of being back and forward, just to enjoy my rugby and just play some regular rugby, be it training every day instead of 1 minute of training at Pirates, next minute I'm back at Chiefs, and then travelling down, living out of a car, because 1 minute I'm in one house, next minute I'm in the other house. Whereas that's another big, because my partner's from Cornwall as well, so she's looking forward to getting back down there. We're looking at a buy a place at the moment, so just I've signed a 2 years, so just settle down for the next couple of years and just kind of not relax, but be in a nice situation.
Settle in. Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy my rugby over the next 2 years, and hopefully playing week in, week out will improve my game.
I was chatting to James McRae, obviously, a couple of days ago, and he said, well, we always talk about the environment at the Pirates, and because of its isolation, that it's a very tight group of players. Obviously, if you're going back and from all the time, it might sometimes be a little bit harder for you than other players to kind of bed yourself into that kind of friendship group and stuff. But but obviously that consistency will change now.
Yeah, it's a very tight group down there. Well, before lockdown, when I was down there in the years before, I'd either be around the ranch house, like having dinner with all the boys, or you'd be over someone else's house, or on your days off, everyone meets up for a coffee or goes to the beach. It was a nice day. So outside of, because I expect you do get a lot of teams that are just rugby players and they just friends because they play rugby. Whereas at Pirates, you normally will see a lot of the boys outside of rugby, whether that's watching other sport or doing stuff activity-wise down the beach. So it's quite a nice group down there that everyone's pretty much mates. And even the coaches get on well with the players, and they've got that good relationship. So I think that's one of the big things why it's a sort of close group.
So on the rugby side of things, we talked about how many games you've already played for the Pirates, but where do you see you kind of fit into the Pirates game plan? What do you offer the team that that others sometimes might? And feel free not to be modest about this.
I'm sure they know that because they've seen me play quite a lot. I'd like to think they know where I'd fit in. One thing I do back myself on is my work rate, just to get through a lot of work in a match. Sometimes a lot of unseen work I think I can get through. And then just standing up and kind of be that sort of leader on the pitch, where you might not be all the chat, but just stand up with your actions and carry hard, make some good tackles and hit some big rucks. I might not be the one that scores all the tries like your forwards like Frosty or someone like that, but I back myself to get through a lot of work in a match and kind of come off with a very high stat game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you talk about Frosty. If you're going to hang out on the wing all game, you're going to score tries. That's just how it happens.
Exactly. He doesn't like getting in the rucks, Frosty.
Nah, but you've got good link-up play as well. In games past, I've seen you running a hard line and then popping the ball at the back on the loop and stuff. So it's interesting. There's some particularly big boots that needs to be filled this season as well. Obviously, with Boots leaving, Not
Yeah.
necessarily the captain side of things, but you're taking a leader off the pitch, but also everything you've mentioned there was pretty much what he was known for. So,
Yeah, definitely.
there's some big boots to step into there almost.
Yeah, obviously when Boots leaves, it was a bit of a shock because I was hoping to play. Well, in my last couple of years, I played a lot of back row 6, but now him leaving might mean I might have to get these ears a bit sore again in the second row. But no, he is a great captain for the club and one that he used to play a lot of rugby, whereas week in week out he used to play 80s.
Yeah.
He's getting to the age where it's probably getting a bit too much for him. But like you said, he used to get through so much unseen work, and whether that's hitting rucks or making tackles or lots of other stuff, or the line out, he used to lead the line out, and he is so good at that for us. So yeah, there is big boots to fill, and I think a lot of boys should try and step up to that. Obviously, the captain's not decided yet, but it's something that a lot of boys will be going after, and hopefully they can step up to his mark.
So you talk about getting dragged back into that second row. Where do you want to play? Well, I say you just want to play, so I'm not going to ask you that question because that's a harsh question. Where is your favourite position?
See, if you asked me this 2 years ago, I would have said second row because I was new to the back row. But now I've played a good 2 years at back row, I'd probably say back row.
Why is that then? What's the difference?
I don't know. I guess back row you just get freed up a lot more because obviously one, you're on the side of the scrum and you can get away quicker, and whereas second row I feel like you've got a demand of like, obviously you got scrummage hard, same as back row, you got scrummage hard, and then you got line outs to worry. Whereas when I play 6, I feel like I can get off and I can get the ball in my hand more, make some more tackles, or just little bits like that really. And then I guess I'm a good line out option from the back row, so that offers that. But to be honest, they're not much different. I'd say a number 6 is where I'd play, is basically a second row that's just a little bit too short and too tall to play at 7. So
weird, because I always thought it was a second row. A back row that was unfit was a second row. So
yeah. Well, the way I look at it now is a 6 is pretty much a second row that's just a little bit too short that can play out there. And so,
I like that. That's
if I had to choose one, I think I'd choose 6 now, just because I've regularly played it.
As I say, in the games last season, obviously I watched them, and the home games particularly, the ones that you've played at 6, it just seems that you, like you say, you're freed up a bit more because you do get to make more carries. And for me, that's one of your strengths, is because you're a big human being, but you carry very aggressively as well, and you get over that gain line. Because when you're in the second row, like you say, you're tied up in the scrum, so you don't necessarily get out from that set piece. There's people in front of you that also want to carry your frosties, and they're beating you to it. So
exactly. And when you're getting out the second row, it should be that the back row should be all there first, so then they're in the way of you, so that's why you end up carrying them on. And if you're not getting off the scrum quicker than the second row, then you're probably doing something wrong. So it's one of them. And obviously, like the pack down at Pirates, everyone's capable of carrying the ball and everyone's good at it, to be fair, so across the ball, which is a good thing to have. And you've got a lot of different sort of players, like Frosty, who's a bit agile and quick, whereas you've got some boys that are just big truck up players.
Cowan Dickey.
Quite nice. Yeah, Cowan Dickey or Jackie Andrew or Tom Duncan.
Hey, you don't know Jack Andrews, to be fair to him. He finished off a 40-metre try this season, didn't he? So he's more of a loose kind of player these days. Transitioned.
Yeah, he's looking good. He looked good last year. He lost a bit of weight. He's agile.
Second row. He's got second row written all over him, hasn't he?
Probably jump better than me.
So two questions to finish off. Two cliche-ish questions, but so how did you feel the season went? We'll focus on the Pirates, obviously, because I don't think my reach to Exeter fans is quite what it is. But how do you think the season went last year for the Pirates, personally and obviously as a squad?
I think I remember speaking to, I think it's Gav actually, from a sort of player coming in as my 4th year. I felt like last year was the best the team's been in my 4 years I've been down there, especially like as a tighter group. In my first couple of years, it might not have been as tight, whereas last year everyone wanted to work for each other and get the wins. And when we did lose, it was a big like downer on this whole training week sometimes, and something you had to get over quick. But last year, I'd say it's a positive step. We were up in that sort of top 3, and it didn't look like there's no one real close to us apart from, whereas the other years we might have been like 4th, 5th, and then we might have pushed it back in and then dropped back out. So I think it's a positive last year. Like there was a game where at Newcastle where we thought we could have given them a better run for their money, and obviously they did get a good score against us. So if looking back, if we could have won that game, then it would have been a good tight run in for the end of the season with us, Ealing and Newcastle. So, but no, I think last year is positive, and hopefully we've got a very similar sort of group of players next year. And well, the two signings of me and McRae, which were there last year, there's not really, I don't think, many more coming in. So it'd be nice to just keep building on last year and then just keep building and building.
It's funny how you mentioned that Newcastle game, because as I said, I chatted to James early in the week, and he highlighted that game as well. And personally, you know, it was disappointing to obviously have that result. But it's interesting how people view it, because in years gone past, when you played the likes of Worcester or Newcastle and all that, and you lose that big game, it's almost accepted. It's almost a given before the game. So the mindset that the boys are disappointed after the result now has got to be a positive step forward.
I know what you mean. I think that started from not last year, the year before, where we beat London Irish at home. Can you remember that game?
Yeah, good game.
That was the year where we played like Exeter in pre-season, and we beat Exeter in pre-season. I think from there, it was kind of a bit like, well, we can actually beat these top sides if we're on our money on the day, or they might be caught off guard. And going up to Newcastle last year, there was like a good belief that we were going to give them a good run for their money, and well, hopefully give them a good game. And then to obviously disappoint and probably not play our best game, or there's a few things that were off. Coming away from that, the boys were gutted, because I think at that point they were only like 7-8 points ahead of us, weren't they?
Yeah.
Ealing were tight behind us, so us losing meant Ealing come up, and then obviously they went further ahead. Whereas if we beat them here or get a 4-point win, then obviously it just closes the gap, which will create more pressure on them to win every week. So going up there, it was a big disappointment, because we actually did believe we could get close to them, and I still believe that if we were, obviously it wasn't our best game, but if we were on the money, there
was a 30-minute period though, like 20-30-minute period just after half time though, where, for lack of a better word, you know, you guys we showed up and we started playing the rugby that we've been playing consistently all season. And yeah, there was started to show some cracks in the Newcastle kind of armoury, didn't it?
Yeah, there's a couple of decisions that there's one where I think I was over the 5-metre line where we took a quick throw in. Yeah,
it almost looked like you were straddling it with both legs, so that was a harsh call.
We scored there, and if that got allowed, like if that got given, then it might have been a sort of different story. So, but it was a tough one because they went that far away. Then I think they were only like 10 points ahead of us, so they closed the gap, and then it might have put more of a game on. But obviously, there's a couple of decisions that went against us or went for Newcastle, and then it kind of just went not downhill, but just couldn't get going. It felt like in the first
momentum, isn't it?
Toward the end of the first half, it just felt we just didn't have the momentum to get on top of them. But like you said, we did have a phase where I think it was just after half time where we were in their half, and I think we might have come away with a try.
Yep.
Like you said, rugby is a big momentum game. When you got the momentum, you got to take your opportunities and score the points, haven't you? Otherwise, because it just swings. There's always a bit in the game where someone has their momentum. It's just whether you can convert.
Well, moving forward then, this season, what are your kind of personal goals, and what are you as a squad, within the squad, looking to achieve this year moving forward? Obviously, building on last year and the kind of mindset and environment that we've talked about past.
I think my sort of goal is just to play that regular rugby and kind of be a standout performer, and just get some good rugby. And obviously I played a lot in the last 4 years, but just have that sort of, like I said, like settling down there and just enjoying my rugby and just playing week in, week out at a good standard, and just hopefully helping the team to get the wins. And then as a sort of a team goal is to, I think, obviously seeing Ealing have made some good signings, and obviously Sarries are coming down. It's just to be challenging them at the top, like just giving them a run for their money, if not beating them.
Yeah, but you've got to look below you as well, because Jersey have made some good signings, and so have London Scottish as well, haven't they? So
Jersey's a tough one. Jersey's not a favourite of me playing them. I played them 7 times and won once, and that's probably my favourite win at Pirates was last year away.
Is that the cup match where Costa scored in the corner?
No, that was the year before. I didn't play in that.
Oh, okay.
Every time I played Jersey until last season in the Champ, where we played away,
they had a bit of a duck against them, didn't they?
Yeah, so I haven't beaten them until last year, so that was probably one of my favourite wins. And yeah, like you said, obviously, I think a good goal for us is just like last year we were very good in the first half, and then so just rounding off that 80-minute performance, the whole sort of thing, and then each week is just having the consistency to go to London Scottish and beat Scottish, and then go to Jersey, beat Jersey, and just like, because I find with Pirates in the last few years playing for them, we'd go and get a very good win against one of the top sides, and then a week later go and like lose to one of the bottom table sides. So it's just about, like, I think a good goal for us would be the consistency of just batting off most teams, if not all of them.
No, I mean, that's always been a problem in the Championship for most clubs, though, because of the depth of squad as well. So in years gone past for the Pirates, they've had a fantastic 16, 17 players, but then the depth behind them, although good players, aren't at the level or the consistency they needed to be. And that's when it's because of the size of squad and the budgets and the finances of the clubs in the area, but it's something that the Pirates have built on.
Well, I think, like you said, they've built on it now, and there is a good squad there. It's just about, obviously, probably one of the good things is people find it tough to come down to Pirates. So a lot of the time we will win, or I can remember a few games last year that we'd have a very good first 40 minutes and put a lot of points on teams, and then we'd just relax. So it's just about finishing those teams off, and then being able to then the week after go and travel on a bus, say 5, 6, 7 hours, and just put in the same performance, which I think is in the locker to do, is just mentally approaching it right.
Hey, when I first started playing for the Pirates, there was no such thing as an iPad. So how do you think we felt? We were watching watching the same movie, Top Gun, on DVD over and over again. So
kept pausing, the signal kept going.
Yeah. Mate,
yeah, God,
as I say,
some good buttons. Christ.
Well,
Way back.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Mate, thank you very much for your time. I'll leave you get back to your lockdown enjoyment with the missus. But yeah, mate, I'm looking forward to seeing you, because as I've got older and slower and unfitter and slightly fatter, I have a much more appreciation for the players that do put in the unseen work. And although you do have like an impact on the pitch in terms of your carries and stuff like that as well, it's the unseen work that players like yourself do that makes the big difference in games. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that this year as a mainstay of the club as well. So, mate, thank you very much for your time. I'll leave you in peace, mate, and look forward to seeing you on the pitch.